Hi, this is Shadi. You can be a red belt technique-wise, but you can still remain a white belt morality-wise, or in the sense of responsibility that you have towards yourself, your community, and even your country. Today we're going to be looking at a footage of a police officer in Vietnam taking someone down and not, I would say, taking care of the situation 100%. Taking care of the person that's taking the throw. You usually throw in the sense of containing someone and not particularly knocking them out. That's the whole goal of, keeping everyone safe when needed, of course. So here you see the man does not want to be escorted. The cop is in green, and then the cop pulls and then blows through both legs, as you just saw here, as in O Soto Guruma, different from Osoto Gari and Osoto Otoshi. Soto Guruma, where you actually rip away through both legs. Guruma, wheel, because once you take away both legs, the entire body spins out downwards, hence the name. It is again different from Osoto Gari because it is on one leg, a major outer reap. It's not the entire body that's spinning around, even though it does, but you're not making it move around the axis of the leg when you reap. This is also to Otoshi, again, another different mechanics contained here. You are actually stabbing down and then pushing the upper body downwards. You're not taking your leg off the ground. So what the cop actually did was actually pull, and as the legs were coming through, he rips away, which makes it much easier. As you see here in this Uchimata in Nage no Kata, you pull, and as they are coming, as the leg has no weight on it, like you see here in the Ashiharai, you actually he ripped away with Osoto Guruma. I know this is a different technique, but I'm just showing that when the leg is actually coming in forward, you have far less energy to use. I did another video here, you see, in Japan, where they arrested a man using a blanket. They took him down and everything, but the man was safely pinned, safely taken down, close contact from beginning to end. However, this one here was far different, and this is what I want to talk to you about. The title says, take care of your uke. When you are training with someone or arresting someone, they are your responsibility officially. Let me tell you a story. I was a white belt, and I was working with this stocky, short brown belt, and we were drilling Uchimata. That was the exercise, and then he lifted me off his hips, and as a beginner, that's very frightening. And then he just rips away with Uchimata with his leg, and just let's go. And I landed flat on my back, and I felt like my rib cage and my lungs were just shattered, and I couldn't breathe, and I was in so much pain with all my back. Different than you see here, where you hold the sleeve upwards, which helps them to land on their lat and causes far less damage. And of course you train how to fall, which makes it far more easier. So I was actually escorted outside of the mat to, get a breath, because that's how serious this stuff can be. And that was on the mats. Imagine if it was on asphalt. I would have probably been paralyzed, maybe. Another incident, a month and a half ago, I was helping another beginner for their exam, and they dropped me like a sack of potatoes, and I ended up spraining my MCL. Actually, it was a slight sprain, but I recovered in 2 or 3 weeks, but it was hell recovering from it. So what I'm trying to say is, please be careful when it comes to training with your uke. And also, that's even worse when you are a cop or in the military, because you have the weight of the community, your country, on your shoulders as a responsibility. So this is where something like the education system of Kano becomes very important. Kano says Judo is moral education, intellectual, and the physical. You cannot just have the physical, because then you would be putting these tools in the wrong hands, and this is the consequences or the ramifications as you just saw. I was gonna put the entire footage, but the footage is very, I would say, sensitive, and I don't want to risk this video being taken down, or to have strike on my channel, because I do want to report on this because it's very important. The video shows that he was taken down. As you saw, he was on the ground, and another man was looking out for the man, and the cop was just standing there. The old people were just shouting at him, screaming at him, and he was just standing there. So he was not in a hurry to arrest someone or to contain a particular situation where he had to use this technique. So in order to get him to the ground, arrest him, and then take him away, just like in the Japanese arrest footage that I did a few months back. No, he was just remaining standing there. So he just did it for the sake of doing it. And again, this is why without the moral education of judo, this stuff can be very dangerous on the community. There is just so much that needs to be done in this particular field. This is a very hot button issue. A lot of people have so much to say, whether it is against other races or here in this particular example with your own people. A lot can go wrong because a lot of people, they want to, I would say, showcase their power. They're insecure. That's why, you know, as Jocko Willing said, psychological screening is very important. It's not just the particular training, and a lot of them are undertrained as well. Some of them train to 5 to 10 hours a year, which is crazy for someone who has this type of occupation. So when someone has only this particular this amount of time of training, the only thing that they're going to use is what's on their belts, and a lot of things are going to go wrong, unfortunately. So proper training, not just in the physical, but the moral and the intellectual, as Kano says, is where it's at. This is true judo. It's not just learning osotogari, because I can do osotogari and I can do the same as that man did, but that doesn't make me a better person. That the goal of judo is not to win or lose, as Kano says, but it's to constantly learn. So another thing that I want to talk about, after the exam this year, when I had my brown belt exam, it was Saturday morning. There was a kids class after it, and I asked sensei, hey, can I invite you to a beer after the kids class? And he says yes. We ended up having lunch and talking for like a couple of hours, and he says that he actually congratulated me on holding the sleeve every time I dropped uke, and I would do the craziest throws he would ask of me, and I would still hold the sleeve or the lapel if it's Sodetsuri Komigoshi. And he actually talked about this very for a long time, actually, because this is where it's at. Because the first thing you need to learn in judo is actually to fall down, and the second is to take care of your uke, not just to throw, but also take care of them. So safety is in both throwing and falling down. And when it comes to the community as a police officer or the military, your responsibility obviously becomes much bigger. So the need for moral education as well as the physical becomes much bigger. So if you have anything else to add, please let me know down below. Also, consider supporting me on Patreon. I have exclusive content for the patrons only. I post there once a week. And also, don't forget to check out Josh Simon's shop in the description below for t-shirts and articles. This was Shadi, and as always, thank you for listening.